First arc of Dragon Ball closes with the gang just narrowly escaping Goku's gorilla grip. Goku's never-ending quest to be the greatest YN, or young Ningen for short as homies in the comments will let you know, take him to the shores of Muta and Roshi. The old man's methods are a bit unorthodox to say the least, and while Goku was doing his best to decipher what the old man meant when he said he liked his women the same way he liked his coffee, a new arrival came to shore. The young man without a hair to his name and the build of a Funko Pop said that his name was Krillin. He had taken a journey from Orange Temple all the way in the Far East to make Roshi's acquaintance and learn the secrets of his martial arts process. Nearly taken in by his assortment of mildly crusty magazines, upon seeing the monk fall through the Kento-un like his last rent payment, he realized the young man was holding back and learned that his true motive was to learn how to roundhouse kick like Van Damme so he could put up wilt numbers back in the temple's co-ed dorms. Roshi didn't have it in him to turn away a fellow man of culture, but despite finding another kindred spirit, he would not be letting go of the secrets of his martial arts without something to show for it. So VO Roshi had his two surrogate grandkids make haste to the city to bag him a baddie by any means necessary, and he would be hearing no more about the type of action they were looking for until he had some happening in his own bedroom. And so the boys headed out on King Kunta to the nearest patch of land housing some XX chromosomes. And after having Krillin verify that Steve Harvey would indeed not meet the criteria for Master Roshi's next little spoon, the two continued to survey the land like Obama's favorite drone looking for the next grenade to drop off at Roshi's. And with Goku's red flag radar, the quest did not take long. Down below, a blonde woman who was doing her damnedest to see how far she could get her star rating up before GTA 6 drops was mid-trigger pull before sneezing and landing on her masterfully sculpted glutes. As the officers approached and were preparing to make her make good on that promise to screw the police, Goku and Krillin heard her cries from above. Krillin, recalling those active warrants he still had on him, decided that you can't save them all and it would be best to let sleeping dogs lie. But unfortunately for him, all the dog and Goku knew how to do was look for problems, and he didn't discriminate if you had a badge or a gun. With all the foolishness and lack of awareness of a prime Leroy Jenkins, Goku dropped in front of the young lady to see what these two fellas with the extendos were really about. Mans like Krillin wanted zero parts, immediately hiding behind a bush and telling the officers that he's willing to give them Goku's birthday, last known address, and social security number the second they empty their clip into that skull of his. To Krillin's surprise though, Goku was as strong as he was ignorant, giving the one cop a foot job and the other some head, leaving them both down for the count. Upon realizing making friends with Forrest Gump might be the smartest thing he's ever done, Krillin emerged from the bushes, chest puffed and head held high as his lack of neck would allow, to let the young lady know that he was right behind Goku ready to save her if he hadn't fallen victim to that knee injury he picked up saving his dog's girlfriend's daughter from that tree a few years ago. And upon further examination of her massive qualifications, he felt that she might be just the thing to get them into Muta and Roshi's good graces as well. Looking to pay her debt for the save and eager to get away from the authorities, the young lady joined Goku and Krillin on his cloud and made a beeline over to Roshi to hopefully celebrate a job well done. When they got to the island, Goku's loud as hell as usual, but the master is nowhere to be found. Krillin suggests that the old man might be in the restroom, and it might behoove Goku to at least pretend to lower his scaring the hoe's energy while they're introducing their new friend to Roshi. Goku looks at the ball boy bewildered. The only hoes he's ever known were in Grandpa Gohan's shed and Capsule Corp, and they were nowhere near either of those places right now, and he damn sure didn't know what the restroom was. Thoroughly confused as to why the hell they would need a break if they just been sitting there the whole time. Krill lowered his voice, working to not shatter Roshi's already meager chances of any type of play, telling Goku Buddy is likely on the toilet. Oh, you mean like taking a shit? Let me go get him. Krillin was mortified, but off young Goku ran without a care in the world. Krillin attempted to work damage control, apologizing for his foul-ass company, working up a little small talk, asking the lady just who were those fake cops that were after her anyway. Launch assured Krillin that those cops were 1,000% real, and they were likely after her for all that money she stole a few hours ago. Panic began to set in. Krillin briefly reminisced on his temple's teaching regarding the hot crazy matrix, but he always fell asleep in that lecture, and the consequences may now prove fatal. Roshi, emerging from his feces-induced stupor, walked out of the outhouse and couldn't believe his eyes. There she was, the apple of his eye, his milk of magnesia, legs longer than the morning after daylight savings and thicker than them charges he can't talk about back when he was living in Colombia. By Kami, the boys had done it. Roshi emerges and is on his best behavior, even managing to refrain from asking the girl for her underwear in the first few sentences. Launch explains how his grandson saved her from the consequences of her own actions earlier and she couldn't be happier. Roshi, beaming with pride, explained that yeah, he taught his little brothers all he knows about throwing hands and that she found herself in the company of a certified real one. Goku was quick to correct Roshi on that first point, reminding him Buddy barely taught them where the doorknob is, let alone lessons on throwing hands, but Roshi was thoroughly locked in and continued to work his turtle hermit charms honed in the fires of 3 centuries of virginity. The old man offered the young girl a place to stay right there at the island, rent-free for the rest of her life. And to everyone's surprise, the proposition, dripping with desperation, was accepted, with the girl stating that she was in need of a place to stay and rest her head, and this looked like a fine place to do just that. So with that decided, Roshi felt that with fortune being firmly on his side today, why not test his luck further, offering to let the young lady be his disciple where she could learn martial arts and keep her heart and her booty healthy for years to come. But first, she must change into the patented turtle hermit attire, because everyone knows any martial artist worth their salt can't begin practice without the proper gear. The young lady was sipping the Kool-Aid faster than a single mom with a fresh EBT deposit and was preparing to drop trowel right in front of the whole squad. But Krillin, far too thirsty and reaching down bad levels approaching Roshi, opened his pie hole and made a thing out of it, leading their guests to disrobing in the house. It took everything Roshi had not to hulk out and skip the bald boy's head across the sea like rocks by the shore, but seeing the young lady emerge from the house in her turtle hermit's finest made him overlook his disciples' indiscretion just this once. This man Roshi is absolutely freaked out, homies. There is no saving him. I barely even know where to start with this one. Issue 1. Do you know how absolutely wild you gotta be to throw a negligee on yourself and 2 minors you damn near just met in hopes of just getting the slightest glimpse of some side nipple? Not only that, but why does this fella have lingerie that can fit Krillin and Goku at all? Like, it's already insane work that as a single 300-year-old virgin living with a turtle, you own this article of clothing at all. But you had some available in kids sizes too? Where's Kendrick when you need him, man? Implications aside though, they were about to learn something very significant about their new housemate. While at first she may appear to be a docile wallflower, just a bit too naive for her own good, when this lady sneezes, she undergoes a prototype Super Saiyan transformation, turns blonde, gets an attitude and a Zenkai boost, and all she wants to do is throw hands. When a fly comes by her and hits her nose just right, their new companion shows her true colors. Goku and company are nothing less than dumbfounded by the change, but these poor fellows won't even have time to process, because after realizing she ain't in jail and for some reason somebody's got to dress her up like a $3 floozy at a saloon, she takes that hit to her pride to heart, pulls the gat out her yacht and starts lighting up the whole turtle hermit lineage. Only stopping after the gunpowder agitates her sinuses and she sneezes again, daintily smiling upon the record she just committed. And right here, homies, is our proper introduction to Launch, or Lunch if you're a true Elder God weeb tier. Personally, your boy's a big fan, not only the chaos that she brings, but I've grown to accept that I'm a lover of low-key toxic women, and I refuse to make apologies for it. All my Revy boys from Black Lagoon in the chat, big salute. After Roshi and company were done recreating the music video for 50 Cent's Mini Men with Launch, he decided that in order to get them a proper workout, a change of scenery was in order. So Roshi packs up the Kame house in a capsule, which is actually a really sick piece of lore. I had no idea it could do that, and set off to find a location where he could really test the boy's skill and maybe see what was popping with Launch's lunchbox while the boys were busy. So after a couple of gags with Launch traumatizing the crew with potential impromptu mood changes, we move on to Roshi's first bit of training in the Turtle Hermit style. To begin, Big Rosh wants to get Krillin and Goku's time on the 100-meter dash, seeing if they even have the horsepower necessary for him to blow his time training them. All 3 foot 1 inches of Krillin was ready, weirdly confident for a young man whose leg-to-body ratio was closer to a Despicable Me character than a human being, but what can you do? Roshi hit the needle on the timer, and everyone's surprised, Krillin crushes the sprint in 10.4 seconds flat. Genuinely insane work, especially for a man with the proportions of a hobgoblin. Roshi even gives him his praises, surprised at the motor the little bald boy had in him. Never want to lose a flexing contest, Goku got in a position to levy his time. As he was running though, he was weirdly distracted and ended up reaching Roshi in 11 seconds. And don't get me wrong, that's still an edge of human capacity numbers, but Krillin couldn't help but feel himself getting a leg up on his rival. A few seconds later, young Goku asked to get a redo, revealing that his grandpa Gohan 11s had been attacked by a can opener and he wanted to try it with a legitimate pair of kicks. After seeing the evidence and that this wasn't just the young jungle boy being a salty loser, Goku did a re-up of the event and this time ran the 108.5. Now after seeing this, I was ready to go off about how not okay this is, but that was before Roshi said hold my turtle shell and ran the 105.6. Homies, let's just take a second to acknowledge how absolutely OD this is. I know it wasn't exactly confirmed, but let's just say that the distance they were running was really the 100-meter dash and not longer, because it very well could have been. Olympic times for the 100 are sitting around the 10-second mark. By human standards, that's considered OD fast. Elite level, built different athlete status. But these two gremlins just showed up to Roshi's house, already putting up those numbers and then some. Usain Bolt, the fastest human on the planet, ran that bad boy in 9.58, and he already looked like the Flash when you see him in motion. So then you got Roshi coming in at a young 3 centuries old, running a 5.6, and that's why Roshi says what he does next. That by human performance standards, these boys were already outstanding. But he expects more than that out of his pupils. If they are going to be hanging with him, they need to go beyond the abilities of a mere mortal and tap into something greater. That's the expectation of the Turtle Hermit School. And here, homies, where Roshi's declaration of war is where we'll call it. Tune in next time as the training arc begins. Roshi puts Goku and Krillin through the ringer, training them both body and mind to mold them into disciples worthy of the Turtle School name. Will they be able to endure the process, or will they crack under the weight of their master's shell? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all, and catch you again in the next video.